Alrighty, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Season 4, Episode 2 of Hit the Books, podcast all about sports betting, the best bets you should be taking in everything surrounding sports. This week, we are jumping into NFL Week 2. I know we're all excited for it here, as well as reviewing some Week 1 matchups, some college football, going over the MLB a little bit, and more. But without further ado, let's jump in and introduce my co-hosts here with me this week, Ace and Huff. Huff, why don't you get us started here this week?
Yeah, what's going on? We're back. Week 1 in the NFL is officially in the books. We are back in the full swing of football. Week 2 around the corner, starting tomorrow night or tonight whenever you're listening to this with Bills Dolphins. Got another good slate this week and a great college slate on Saturday. I'm excited to get into it.
Heck yeah, lots of good stuff there. Ace, finished off here for us, and let's jump into this week.
Yeah, like you guys said, week 1 was perfect for us. I mean, I dominated the cards, so I can't complain. My New England Patriots went out and got a win, as I predicted on our live stream and our podcast. Should have thrown it on my card with that crazy value, but I had a little chump change on it off of it. Just a great week all around. Baseball still heating up. I got NHL 25 coming out soon, so I'm looking forward to that too. But ready to go on another week here. Big week 2 slate. Maybe get some overreactions this week.
Yeah, I was bored the other day, so I pre-ordered the game.
When's it come out?
I think
I didn't do the crazy pre-order because I don't play Ultimate Team and all that stuff.
One of my buddies, he did it. We're not Ultimate Team guys, but he just did it for 10-day early access. I'm like, 10 days?
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. But
when's it come out?
I want to say like next month.
Ace, how's Madden?
Mid
I've
next
played
month
it
or
once.
something, yeah.
What's your true opinion on Madden?
I love every Madden, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
complain
you're not the good
about
person to ask. Yeah,
nah, I think it's great. I mean, I played. I played in. I'm back in 2 leagues. I wasn't in any for the longest time. Then the new game came out, and they're like, "We need people. We need people." I was like, "All right." And then the other leagues, we also need people. I was like, "Great." So I got the Jaguars at like 26th pick in one. I got the Patriots at like 15th pick in the other. So I think I went 71-21. My first game was the Jags, and then today I smacked the kid with the
Is
bag.
it like it's like actual teams?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You get to start with the roster from week 1, and you get to
and you can like do what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to follow.
That's cool.
Have you made any trades?
Nothing. Well, I'm actually in the process of making a crazy one. People love dumping off old guys, and I'm like, oh, we're in win now mode always, especially with the Jags roster. I'm dumping off Christian Kirk and a third for Josh Palmer and Khalil Mack. Can't complain about that.
Yeah, that's a good trade.
Well, that's pretty sweet here. We got a starting segment here to get us going for the show today. Top 3 potential Super Bowl matchups for this year's Super Bowl. Let's get us rolling on this one.
I think I can get us going with the first one. I'll tell you what I want to see, and it's the most boring take ever. It's part 3 of the 49ers Kansas City Chiefs rivalry, but I'm going to tell you it only can happen if the 49ers win this time. I don't want to see the same scenario play out where Kansas City Chiefs go 3-0 against Kyle Shanahan, even though it probably would happen, but I just think those are the best teams in the league. There's some other fun ones I want to get to, but Huff, let me hear you first.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have them ranked in order. I feel like most of mine are going to consist of teams that haven't been there, or just teams that I've kind of don't really have any bad blood against that I wouldn't hate seeing get to a Super Bowl. My first one would be the Bills versus the Lions. I feel like
so somebody has to win.
Someone's got to win. Not even saying like noticing that neither of those teams have really won. Or Bills don't have a Super Bowl, do they?
No, they just lose them all.
They just lose them every time they get there. Yeah, I think that would be a good one. Plus 2 like gritty football fan bases,
teams like star power, like coming.
I was thinking more along that route. And then I'll kind of get into our second one. At least what I think would be, it does include the Chiefs, so someone that's been there the past couple years, and Mackey's Dallas Cowboys.
Oof. Yeah, that'd be a tough one for the Cowboys to walk into because they'd be losing.
Exactly.
And they'd be so hyped getting there too. Like
it'd be like the Eagles 2 years ago. They were so excited to go there and lose. Like
it shouldn't even be called the Super Bowl. It should be the event to play against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and lose.
Yeah.
So, but then I'll go into my second one here. I think this one will be pretty hyped just because the quarterback matchup and the fan base is kind of similar and 2 hyped teams, like you said. I would go with Lamar Jackson versus Jalen Hurts in the finals. I think that would be a great matchup there.
That would be good too.
2 of those teams, they're literally stacked top to bottom. Those are video game rosters, video game quarterbacks that have a lot of following too, and it'd be a new look for the league.
That would be even cooler if it happened this year, especially if we get I feel like there's a good chance we could get Orioles-Phillies World Series, but I also am rooting for the Yankees. But could you imagine doing the MLB and the Super Bowl in
the same
Philly
cities
and Baltimore? That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. And I just think those two teams would be great to watch. They put on a great game too. So it'd be two hype teams. Notice none of us have taken defensive stalwarts yet.
Yeah, or did you just gave your second one. My last one, I had the Packers going. I just like that fan base, and I wanted to. There's so many. I had better instances for kind of the AFC and NFC championship. Who would you say out of the AFC? Maybe like the Texans, like Packers.
Texans are in my third one. Yeah, that's like Jordan Love versus CJ Stroud. The up and coming.
Yeah.
The week one popped the balloon for me with his injury, so they're not in my hype one anymore. But I definitely get why you say that.
Or like maybe an honorable mention now that Harbaugh's on the Chargers, like get the storyline, get him back into a Super Bowl, not necessarily.
I thought the same thing. Harbaugh versus like McVay.
Yeah. Oh, at Battle LA, that would be cool.
I think my pick would be though Tampa Bay versus Houston. I would like to see Baker versus Stroud. Those two teams have a lot going on.
I was trying to find a way to do Baker versus Kyler Murray, and that was one I had for the NFC Championship, like Bucks Cardinals. Just like because they both played together at Oklahoma, they'd make a huge story out of that.
Or Baker versus the Browns.
Yeah, that would be cool too.
That'd be insane.
Browns get to their first Super Bowl. They're riding high, and then the quarterback that they shipped out of town beats them in their first Super Bowl.
Who's been insane since he came on, ever since he's came on the scene in Tampa Bay too. I mean, that guy.
Remember him in Carolina?
Remember him in LA? That's where he revived his career. He did pretty good. Yeah, but he was on retirement watch in Carolina.
The first game that he started with the Panthers was, I think it was against the Browns. I slammed the Panthers in that game, and their kicker, I think, missed a field goal late, and I was like, yep, I will never bet on the Panthers again.
That was so brutal to watch. That team has been terrible for a while, shambles. But like, I'm happy to see Baker Mayfield. He got the bag this summer too because of it.
That's a cool franchise. That's a team winning. I like when they're good.
But he also gets to throw to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They got Jalen McMillan now. They have Rashad White, a great O-line and a good defense. It's a great spot to be.
Did you see that mic'd up part of what Bake said the other day?
No.
He was like, he goes, if I got single coverage on Mike Evans, it's going to him.
Oh,
and he's standing in the play, and he goes, oh, my God, they're actually going to do it. And he goes, it's going right to him.
Touchdown.
Boom. Calls a shot, and he goes, it's too easy.
How good is Mike Evans, too? He's underrated, I should say, because of his age. But he's actually one of the top tight ends in the league. Consistent.
Receiver. You said tight end.
Yeah. He's so big, it reminds me of
like a tight end. But
yeah, he's a receiver.
Most 8,000-yard seasons in a row? That's insane.
Red zone target hog, too. And then you have Godwin. How good is Godwin, too? He'd be a 1 on a lot of teams.
He'd be a 1 on my Steelers right now.
He'd be a 1 in Pickens.
He'd be a great fit. And I'd love to have him.
And he could catch 10, 12 targets a game. I know he's a little injury prone, but they have that rookie McMillan who looks like he's coming on, Keydot and Rashad White. That team's deep. It'll be a fun one. But let's get into this first week. I'm already excited to talk about it in the second week with this slate.
Heck yeah, let's jump in and review some of these week 1 games here, especially these primetime ones. On Thursday, the Chiefs taking down the Ravens 27-20. On Friday in Brazil, the Eagles taking down the Packers 34-29. On Sunday, Steelers winning their matchup. Patriots also winning their matchup. Cowboys also winning their matchup.
Hometown leg.
And the Rams and the Lions for Sunday Night Football went into overtime. The Lions taking the win there 26-20. And on Monday for that primetime matchup here just the other day, 49ers Jets. 49ers take that 32-19 against Aaron Rodgers. What are your thoughts here, guys, on week 1? Any other games in week 1 that piqued your interest? What are you thinking?
All those primetime games, it's crazy. They were all great games, but the favorite won every single one.
Ace, we kind of fed the public on those live stream picks on Sunday when I was golfing. I'm looking back at some of these games. We both agreed on Cardinals plus 6.5. They covered.
The over.
Titans, Bears. I gave out that first half under. That was my Myrtle lock that hit. I think you said Bears will cover in that one as well. What were the other games? The one that we both said was Dolphins minus 3.5. I was on the Jaguars last week. I wasn't confident in that one. That was a loss for us. We both had the Dolphins there. Both said the Cowboys as a dog over the Browns, and then I think we both were on the Lions on Sunday Night Football. Our only loser that we gave out was Dolphins minus 3.5. If anyone.
Yeah, and we took our home teams as well. Crushed the props. I think I was plus 8.5 units, but it's just crazy. I mean, I feel like everything that you expect to happen, all the big names got in the end zone, all the big teams won their games. A lot of those new pieces that we called this one to a T, Huff. A lot of those new pieces that people just signed got in. Derrick Henry first touchdown, Saquon Barkley first touchdown. Who was it?
Jacobs couldn't join the fun in Brazil.
Jordan Mason at plus 110. He once you see CMC on the shelf, everybody went to slam Mason. Obviously, he gets in too. I mean, it's just kind of free money. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs and Cooper Kupp all get in on Sunday Night Football. It's crazy. Packers the only one, you're right, where they didn't get their superstars in, but they had a losing effort. And Jaden Reed.
And then Jade Reed snap and now be the leading receiver heading into week 2 after a 138-yard, 2-touchdown performance. He's unreal. I had to look at that on my fantasy bench while I had McCaffrey sit out and give me 0 points. I lost by 4 points. You didn't handcuff
Jordan Mason?
I couldn't pick anyone up. It was locked. Didn't you see me texting Mackie about that in the group chat?
Oh, I didn't see that because you wanted something crazy. My brother texted me on Saturday or Sunday. He's like, get Jordan Mason now. I'm like, why? I have McCaffrey. Like, I think I'm fine at running back. He goes, no, I think he's out. I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just add him as a handcuff. That night comes. I'm down by 3 points. I have Christian McCaffrey. They have Breece Hall. He gets scratched. Kids text in the group chat, oh, you lose. I'm like, oh, no, I got Jordan Mason on the bench. And he beats Breece Hall. He beats him.
I couldn't do that.
He ran with his hair on fire. I think
Another first touchdown, Breece Hall. I had that one on Monday.
Yeah, you called that one to a T.
All the big dogs were
Garrett Wilson catches. I mean, literally, you got to tune in these live streams. We're crushing them. But to some other quick notes on those games. Lions playing the volleyball. That was nice to see. A couple big injuries. Puka Nacua, I don't know how long he's going to be out for. Tyler Johnson stepped in well, and that McVay offense can make a second receiver valid no matter who it is. Behind Cooper Kupp, who's going to be a target hog and top receiver in the league. Jordan Love going down. I think he's out 4 to 6 weeks. That's a tough scene there. I know they just traded for Malik Willis. I don't think he'll even play because he's just a dart throw as a backup quarterback. They need an established veteran who can just throw the ball normally with that offense. You can run it in Jacobs, then throw it to all the plethora receivers. Crazy receiver room. Feel bad for anybody who has him in fantasy, but I guess fire up Reed. I don't think any big injuries coming out of the Chiefs game. Maybe got to see a little bit more out of Travis Kelce, and then on the Ravens side, got to see more out of Mark Andrews. And then Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. I don't know. Are they going to jet? I think they are, but the Niners are a good team. Goes to show you they can win with anybody.
I think it'll get better before it gets worse with the Jets, but me and you both said they're not. Neither of us had them as playoff teams.
No, but yeah, they should be around 500 in the bubble conversation. But that was tough to watch. And Allen Lazard, the only true player, really stepping up. Garrett Wilson looked good, but we'll have to see.
Alrighty, lots of good stuff here out of week 1. Lots of good bets. I believe everybody except for Mackie in the positive for our weekly picks here. But like the boys said, make sure you turn into our live streams. They're giving out lots of good picks, lots of winners and stuff like that, just randomly on these games that we're talking about and such. So definitely a lot to look forward to. But let's jump into our power rankings here for the NFL heading into week 2. Coming in at number 5, we have the Houston Texans. Number 4, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, the Dallas Cowboys. Number 2, the San Francisco 49ers. And number 1, the reigning Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. What are you guys thinking here about the power rankings this week before we get into week 2?
A lot of familiar faces from the usual with the Chiefs, Niners up top, Cowboys sniffing around there. I believe the Eagles we said as well. They were in there a lot last year. And then those Texans, I mean, they've jumped up a lot. A lot of people expected them to be there, and they got the job done against a Colts team that looked good with Anthony Richardson at the helm.
I even personally think the Eagles could be in that 3 spot. Obviously, Dallas goes into Cleveland, gets a big win. Philly gets a big win on a neutral site against Jordan Love, a team that a lot of people were high on. Obviously, injury aside, no one knew that was coming with 5 seconds left in the game. I'm big on this Eagles team this year. I think that they'll be in that top 3 very soon.
Yeah, a couple teams pressing for it. I think the Dolphins are right there outside of the mix. I know the Ravens lost, but they're probably still in the mix for that conversation. The Detroit Lions as well. Those are the 3 that come to mind when we're talking about best teams in the NFL right now.
It's 3-1 Mets. Top of the 9th. 2 outs, 2 guys on.
So they scored 3 in the 9th.
Yeah, I just need them to fucking chill out now.
Lots of good stuff out of our power rankings there, but let's jump into week 2 here, starting out with the Thursday night football game in Miami. Bills and Dolphins. Dolphins are the favorite, 2.5 points for them. Total 49. Dolphins money line at -135. Bills at +115. What are you guys thinking here for this first Thursday night, or the second Thursday night football game of the year?
Ace, you want to start us out here?
Yeah, we kind of went over this one in the live stream. You guys will be seeing this online as well, as Huff and I pre-recorded this, but I think there's a lot of points in this game. I think both of these offenses are going to pay their due. I think Mostert will get going more so on the ground more than they did last week. A Dolphins team that only put up 17 points, that's crazy to me. And then the Bills team that didn't get going until the second half, both of them really excelling in the second half, getting over that early season first half woe. I know it's a Thursday night football game. It screams under in a primetime divisional matchup, but I do like Waddle and Hill to both find the end zone, and then either Mostert or a chain, maybe both, as I think the over hits here. Dolphins team total more so. I think they're able to get in, and then Josh Allen's going to will himself to carry along that torch, maybe in an MVP season if he's able to put the team on the back and clinch the playoffs. A lot of different mouths to feed out there in Buffalo, so I'm not too keen on any of his playmakers, but I think they're going to be a little bit better this week in a game that they must have a better showing against the Dolphins.
Yeah, I agree. I am on the Dolphins in this game. I like them minus the 2.5 points. I think they'll come out fast at home. Kind of similar to what you said. And only a 20-point performance last week against Jacksonville is a 3.5-point favorite. They get the win. They don't cover. I like the Dolphins to handle business this week against a divisional opponent at home. These are games they need to pick up. Like I said on the live stream, I don't know when they play Buffalo in their second matchup. If it's a cold weather game, I love them to split and take their home games in this one. So give me Miami in the prime time. I think you'll see a lot of Tyreek Hill. Tua looks really good in that first game. Obviously, he had the couple long balls, but a lot of people overlook him. And I mean, he has a good receiving core, but I think, this Dolphins team could go far. But their only hope is to pick up big wins early on in the year and win that division, try to get a home playoff game because we saw what happened last year in Kansas City.
Yeah, and these two teams are divisional opponents. They usually split. Everybody says it's a tough place to play down in South Florida. Going down there, keeping your team composed and being able to win in that weather. Mike McDaniel, we see what he can do with an offensive playbook that really is tough to cover with all the speed he has at every position. You said Tua Tagovailoa, got to respect him. You do. He's been in the MVP conversation, at least for the early part of last season. I think he's going to be in the early part of this season. If he stays fully healthy, so does Hill and Waddle, he might have a chance at it again as he puts up some big numbers that are inflated by the run after the catch. It was nice to see Jalen Waddle come back last week after he went down with that concussion protocol, came back into the game, finished with over 100 yards. I think he continues to be successful. And a chain found the pay dirt, so I think it's only Mostert's time, but you think each team might get in two. Might be a thing to see. I think the Dolphins' defense a little bit stouter than Arizona, so we'll see what the Bills can do. Josh Allen getting in the end zone, my favorite play, though. Even money, I think he does it again. He did it multiple times last week.
Before I get into anything else on this game, Mets just hit a 3-run homer at the top of the ninth.
So you lost that under all in one spot.
All in the ninth inning.
Bowden Francis, no-hitter going into the ninth, and it's gone.
They should have just kept him in there. Fucking that bullpen was, they fucked everything up.
They knew it was coming. He's got to leave.
I got some trends here for this game here. Bills 11-1 straight up in their last 12 games against Miami. Dolphins 17-6-1 against the spread in their last 24 divisional games. 10-3 against the spread in their past 13 September games. And Dolphins are 12-2 straight up. 10-4 against the spread in their last 14 games as the favorite.
I like that 10-4 against the spread as a favorite in the last 4 games, especially the 2.5 point spread, because that's basically nothing. You're just asking them to win the game, honestly, at that point, unless a missed extra point or a kick goes Ari and screws you over. One more thought on this game. I was talking about those mouths to feed for Josh Allen. Dalton Kincaid had big hopes of the season, only 1 catch last week. Need him to step it up a bit more. I know Khalil Shakir found the end zone. Keon Coleman led their receiving core in targets. James Cook, kind of non-existent. So Kincaid, Cook, they got to get going if they want some more success this season.
Alrighty, lots of good stuff out of the Thursday night football game. Let's jump into our Sunday slate here, starting at 1 o'clock. Raiders and Ravens in Baltimore. Ravens are the favorite, minus 8.5. The total at 41.5. Their money line minus 450. Raiders money line plus 350. What do you guys see happening in this first 1 o'clock matchup?
Yeah, this line is dropping. It was 9.5. I saw it 10 somewhere. And now obviously dropping down to 8.5. They obviously are leaning on the Raiders, getting the points. I'm going to stay away from that. Ravens coming off a big loss in Kansas City. Going to stay away from a side on this one, even though I could easily see this be a trouncing for the Ravens. Raiders do have a pesky defense. That offense looked not good last week. You got to think Antonio Pierce will get things figured out. A lot of people are high on him as a coach. I'm going to go with the under in this game, 41.5. I saw a stat when a spread is 7.5 or more, the under tends to, I think it was hitting at 60% or something over the past 3 years. So nice little stat there. I'm going to go with the under 41.5.
Yeah, you want to know what's crazy, Huff, is a lot of people are telling me they're worried about the Ravens this week. They think this could be an upset spot, yada, yada. You said Antonio Pierce is going to figure it out. I don't think so at all. If we watched the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson last year in his MVP season with a lesser roster and a depleted secondary, they trounced the bad teams. Whenever they played somebody bad, they took care of business. They throttled them. Coming off of a loss on the road to Patrick Mahomes and co, when they played a solid game and got screwed over by a toe, putting them to overtime, which would have been a big spot if they went for 2 and won that game. I think this is a huge spot for them to show who they are, how good they are at home, M&T Bank Stadium at 1 o'clock against the Las Vegas Raiders, who just got handled last
big
week.
This isn't a primetime game, too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's no pressure. The Ravens are just going to go out and do their thing. Lamar's going to have a crazy day. I think Henry's going to have a good day. That defense will have a good day because those Raiders looked terrible last week. I took the Chargers in the survival pool. That's the only reason I tuned in. And I put the Chargers on our card. That was my mortal lock of the week, I believe. Oh, no, it was mixed TD, but it was close to that. So I was just interested in see what the Chargers could do, but it just showed me how bad this Raiders team was. They couldn't get the ball to Devontae Adams. Against a weak, inexperienced Chargers team, I think they're going to go play the other Harbaugh now. They're going to get double Harbaugh to start the season, and they're going to get handled. This Antonio Pierce thing, I think he's a great guy, great coach. Peace, head coach, I don't know. I think he's just a scapegoat. He'll be out of there after this year. Devontae Adams will be out of there at some point as well.
I don't know about he'll be out of there. I think they kind of they're buying into him. I mean, it's easier said than done. We'll see if they start the season, like 1-5, very realistic option.
I think there's going to be locked or room problems too with Devontae not getting the ball.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, but and they don't really have a good quarterback to go to. It's
not a good running back.
Yeah,
no running back either. It's Zamir White or Alexander Madison. Jacoby Myers looked like the best player in the offense. They have exciting tight ends, and then Max Crosby was neutralized last week by the rookie Joe Alt, who looked great in his debut. But there's nothing for this Raiders team that I don't know how they're going to score. I don't know how they're going to stop the Ravens, and their special teams is weaker. I can't see any game. I think I might put this crazy spread on my card.
I do think if I was going to pick a spread in this one, I'd take the Ravens. I'm going to go with the under, though.
Yeah, that should. Ravens team total over is what I'd take, or a team total under on the Raiders. I think it's just a blowout.
I think that's going to be one of the more fun week 1 or week 2 matchups to watch here, starting that in the 1 o'clock slate there. But let's keep moving forward here. Chargers and Panthers in Carolina. Chargers are the favorite, -6 for them. Total at 39. Their money line at -275. Panthers money line at +220. What are you guys seeing happen in our next 1 o'clock game here?
I think this is the same story as the Chargers had last week. They're going up against one of the worst teams in the league in the Carolina Panthers. They went up against the Las Vegas Raiders last week. I talked about Joe Alt coming in. Ladd McConkey came in. He was one of the top rookie receivers out there. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards came over from Baltimore, and they joined the other Harbaugh out in L.A., helped him capture his first victory with the Los Angeles Chargers and his another stint in the NFL. Justin Herbert looks solid and efficient. That's why I think they'll be again. And this Panthers team just doesn't have enough. They're too weak all around. I know they got embarrassed last week, so this might be a good chance for them to get better. I'm not going to card the Chargers -6 this week. I know they're a popular survival pick, and I think J.K. Dobbins will continue his resurgence as long as he stays healthy. But I just don't see this being too great. I think I could see an under in this game, low scoring. I just think Bryce Young can't get anything going once again.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And I don't know if I like the Chargers enough. A new team, I feel like if
6 is a lot for him.
I was going to say, I think 6 is a lot for them on the road, a total cross-country trip. I think the Panthers are terrible. Am I going to take the -6? No. Again, I kind of like this under. It's another lower one. Panthers don't put up a lot of points. Cross-country trip for the Chargers. Young offense, a lot of new pieces. I could see this be a low-scoring game. Give me Chargers to win 23-14.
I was going to say, this is a weird one, 19-14, and it misses by a point on the spread there. I think J.K. Dobbins, I don't know if you saw those highlights or watched that game. He looked great. They have that thunder and lightning with Edwards and Dobbins. It worked for the Ravens last year. I know it's not the best thing in the world, but it's really good. Ladd McConkey might be one of the best rookie receivers in the league. I could put him at number 3 heading into week 2. I'm going to overlook the Marvin Harrison dud, but I think him and Brian Thomas and Marvin Harrison Jr. are the 3 rookie receivers to watch, even though Dunn's neighbors were highly touted. I just think this Chargers team under Harbaugh is going to turn his ship around. We talked about this team before the season when we previewed the AFC West. I think they're able to clinch the playoffs. I think they're able to be a backdoor playoff team, fight with those Buffalo Bills, those Pittsburgh Steelers for the last playoff spot, especially in a weak division outside of the Chiefs.
I think McConkey's going to be a great piece.
Especially fire him up in fantasy if you got him.
I took him in fantasy. Yeah, I wanted him. I felt like Harbaugh was going to force feed him the ball, and they
found Peter too.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff there. Let's keep it going here. The 1 o'clock slate. Saints and Cowboys here. Dak at home, favored at 6.5 points. Total at 45.5. Saints money line at plus 240. What do you guys think? Can Dak pull off another win here against another 1-0 Saints?
They should.
I think they can. I'm going to take the Cowboys minus the 6.5 here. We've all seen the Cowboys in the regular season early on
at home
in the AT&T Stadium. Saints riding high off of after shit stomping a divisional opponent in week 1. I think that tells us more about the Panthers than it does about this Saints team. I'm not big on this offense. Obviously, we know my opinion on Derek Carr. I'm not going to take the Saints in this game. Give me the Cowboys minus 6.5. I think this one could get ugly.
Yeah, you want to know something though? I think the same exact things. I think it should get ugly. I think the Cowboys should cover it. I like Dak and them at home. I mean, they're crazy at home. I used to always card them last year. Got to see one more time with it. They had a great week last week through the air. The running backs on the ground look pretty decent. Ezekiel Elliott finding the end zone. Defense is great too. I like some of their
Zeke scoring in this game in his first home game back as a Cowboy.
Yeah, he's got to. But here's the thing: I think points might be tough to come by. I actually see an under game here, unless the Cowboys blow them out and you take an alternate spread of minus 19.5. I could see like a 23-10 game. Because this Saints team has one of the top defenses in the division. A lot of people gave us flack on our division picks. They're like, the Saints are the best team in the AFC South, NFC South. We like the Bucs or the Falcons a little bit more, but the Saints team is feisty. They're riding high, and maybe they might play pretty decent to start the season. They're a team that gets banged up sometimes with their age. They have good pieces all around, though. Kamara and Williams, Olave and Shaheed, Taysom Hill's in the mix. Derek Carr's a veteran quarterback to make the playoffs. A good O-line, a solid defense. Might be a tougher game than should be for the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys should still get it done, but I'm going to stay away on the card on this one just because the Saints have looked pesky. They look good so far. It's one game in, I know, against the Panthers, but they did everything right, so I can't see them slowing down completely.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's more of me riding kind of what I've seen with the Cowboys.
The Cowboys are.
Dak got paid, CD got paid. Everyone's home game. That place is going to be buzzing. Everyone's under contract. Obviously, the Micah Parsons situation seems like they're going to deal with that this offseason after handing out, bags to CD and Dak, which we've seen Micah Parsons on his podcast. Seems like he's okay with that. He wanted everyone to get taken care of, but now I look for the Cowboys to roll in this game. I'm not big on the Saints team. I really am not.
And what's crazy is I'm so low on the Saints too. I thought they could be bottom dwellers in the division, but they just scared me last week, so I'm taking a week off. I know it's a ways away, but could you see yourself putting this on the card? I don't think I could yet, but I do agree with you on the Cowboys pick.
Might. But I don't know yet.
Going to be an interesting matchup there at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. But let's move forward to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Lions the favorite, 7.5 points for them. Total at highest we've seen, 51.5. Lions money line at minus 375. Bucks money line at plus 290. What are your guys' thoughts on this one?
Kind of a similar situation in the last game, but Lions obviously coming off a primetime spot against a pretty decent team in that LA Rams team. I think we've all said that we think they'll be there late in the season, if not a fringe wild card team, if not a wild card team. Same with this Bucs team. I think a lot of us picked them to win this division. This is another playoff rematch for them last week. They're starting the regular season with their 2 playoff rematches. They just went to they play the 49ers next week. That would be everyone they played in the playoffs last year. So kind of an interesting way for them to start out the schedule. Teams they've seen recently. I think this is a very beneficial spot for the Lions and a 1 o'clock spot, similar to how I feel about that Cowboys game. Give me the Lions minus the number. I'll lay that 7.5. I'd rather get it at 7 and buy the half point. I'm big. I think this Bucs team is very good. I just think the Lions, not in the prime time, they'll find a way to win this game. Maybe 31-23. It's going to be close.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close as well. And like you said, it's a playoff matchup. I think it's a crazy line for a team that had looked really good last week in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield leading all passers with the 4 touchdowns. Mike Evans looked unstoppable.
Lions were an 8.5 point favorite in that divisional game last year, and Lions covered that game. So that's also, I feel like, weighing into this.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just think the plus 290 is a pretty good value. I know this. You can drop games early in the season; they don't hurt as much. But the Lions are primed for big success this year. I'm going to stay away from this one. I might tease the Bucks. I think if you can get them at like 14 points, that's not a bad thing to look at. 2 touchdowns. The way Baker Mayfield's been playing with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rashad White, that 3-headed monster there in Tampa Bay, and that defense is very stout too. They stuffed the run. I'm eager to see how the Lions attack them once again because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got a full look at the Bucks last year. The Bucks got a full look at the Lions last year with that Gibbs-Montgomery stack. I think that with Vita Vea and everybody else healthy on that defense this year, maybe they're able to stifle them a little bit more. I think that the Bucks have a chance in this game. I'm looking at the money line. I'm debating it, but my favorite would be to tease them and put them in something else. Got to think Mike Evans finds the end zone once again because I don't think there's a corner that can keep up with them.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I definitely think I think teasing them to 14.5, I think that'd be free. I don't think there's a situation where the Lions win this game by 14, 15 points.
And the thing is, too, like, they just match up well with those 2 running backs. I'm eager to see how they attack them. Amon-Ra was a no-show last week in the Rams game. You got to think he gets back to the field this week and has a good one. Jameson Williams
as well didn't really do much.
But how good did Jameson Williams look? His breakout was strong. He had the touchdown. He was hitting the Fortnite emotes in the end zone. He looked good, though. That's the Alabama X factor they're waiting for, and you know how good Amon-Ra is, so we got to wait for him.
He might have bet himself the score, maybe, so he had a little bit more motivation to get in the end zone.
He probably did, and I thought he was going to be hurt for a second. I feel like we're going to have to hold our breaths a lot with him. Lions fans will, too, because when he's on the turf, he's a small guy, skinny guy. He might be down for a bit, but they have Laporta. They have Amon-Ra. They have Gibbs. They have Montgomery. Goff's playing decent football. All things should keep rolling well in the regular season there.
Yeah, it's a good team. They have nice young pieces. I like the corner, Terrion Arnold from Alabama. They obviously have Hutchinson up there. They have some nice pieces on the defensive side of the ball, too. Just nothing special. They're going to give up points.
This was my lock of the week. Last week I took them in my survival bracket. That kept me going. Mackey took the Bengals. Whole deal, Mackey. But the Buccaneers kept us going, and they looked like one of the best teams in the league. I mean, that's an overreaction from week 1, but they could be a very strong team this year. This is going to be a telling game. If they're able to keep it close or somehow win against Detroit this week, they're going to pose a lot of fear in the NFC, especially in the NFC South, because that team on paper is very good. Baker Mayfield, I think he's still peaky in his career.
Good stuff, guys, here for that 1 o'clock matchup. This next matchup, Colts and Packers, 2 teams looking for their first win of the season in Green Bay. The Colts are the favorite, just 3 points here. Total 41 even. Their money line, Colts money line at -160, Packers money line at +135. I don't think I have any trends for this one. No, I don't. What are you guys thinking here about this game? Green Bay, two teams looking for their first win.
No Jordan Love. That's the trend here. That's the scary thing to worry about. A lot of people were high on them, me included, that they could push for the division. But without Jordan Love for a few weeks, there's no way they're doing that. They got to hope to survive and backdoor into the wild card. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Colts look great. I feel like the public's going to be all over him with the way Anthony Richardson played. He's got the athletic ability with Josh Allen. He is the size of Cam Newton and the arm of whoever the hell you want to throw up there in the mix. And he looked great last week. I know it was a losing effort. That defense got kind of shredded. But you got to think they're able to take this one with whatever the Packers roll out at QB.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers won this game. That's not an easy place to go play. Young team, young coach, young quarterback for the Colts. Obviously, Malik Willis under center is obviously the reason I'm not going to actually bet this.
Looked terrible.
But I'm just saying from a side, I mean, he played, 2 plays?
Last year.
Oh, yeah. But I agree. I think the better coach is LaFleur. I still think they have the better offense with the better weapons, not obviously under center anymore. The better defense is on their home field. I would not be surprised if the Packers can cover 3 points here.
It might be carding the Colts -3. They just look so good, and after losing last week and tough division,
I feel like that's such a trap line with Malik Willis playing.
It is. But at -3 at even, I really like the odds. I don't know.
If Jordan Love was playing, this would be Packers -4.5.
Yeah, maybe. But coming off the loss, I don't know. The Colts looked really good last week, though, against a good Texans team. At least Anthony Richardson did.
Yeah. I'm not betting it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Packers cover here.
Yeah, this will be a tough one. I think this is going to be a good game, though. I think this one's going to be hotly
I always find a team like this that gets a hurt quarterback and the backup comes in. Not saying I have faith in Malik Willis. It's more the coach and the addition,
the system.
I think they're just going to rely on Josh Jacobs this week. He didn't have a big game last week. Hand the ball to Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed, jet sweeps, short passes to him.
Team, their defense is supposed to be stout, especially against the run. They're supposed to be strong on the O-line, and they have good playmakers, Jonathan Taylor. Their wide receiver room looked great last week.
I like Pierce.
Alec Pierce.
And Pittman. I like the receivers.
Adonai Mitchell didn't even look too great. Pierce, and then who was the other one that had the other long catch? Ashton Doolin, I believe, had a big touchdown too. So they could throw the ball at anybody. And with the way Richardson's playing, the sky's the limit. These two teams are going to be fighting for a bubble spot at the end of the year. They might be able to get backdoor their way into the playoffs. This is a big week here. I think the Richardson.
I got
the Richardson Colts this week. I got them this week -3.
I like this Colts team. This is such a trap line. I don't want to fall into. I'm just going to avoid this game.
Alrighty, staying with the 1 o'clock slate here. Browns and Jags in Jacksonville. The Jaguars are the favorite here. Just 3 points for them. Total 41.5. Their money line -175. Browns money line +145. Another set of teams here looking for their first win here in week 2. What do you think?
Jaguars, and this could be close to the week that Deshaun Watson gets benched with that huge contract. I think it's coming. Do you think there's a chance we see him benched this season?
Yeah, I definitely think there's a situation for that. And I think the crazy part is they were going to trade Jameis a few weeks ago. I'm also on the Jaguars here. I lean them in this spot. I think you can lay the 3 points. Obviously, they were very competitive in Miami last week in a 3-point losing effort. They're getting a worse Cleveland team than that Miami team coming to their stadium this week. Give me the home team by the field goal. I'll take Trevor Lawrence, ETN. That offense looked good last week. Only scored 17
points. By ETN killed them.
I was just going to say there's a huge fumble there. Turnovers go both ways. The defense, though, that was kind of the most important part for me. We all said, I think me and you said, that Mackey hates the Jaguars. I don't love them as a franchise either, but
they're going to push for that division. I thought
they're going to be in the picture there at the end of the year. I think they have a very good defense. I'll clarify that. Not a great defense. And I think the Browns coming to town, vibes are kind of different with who's going to play quarterback. Deshaun, Jameis, what's going on under center? Do they trust Deshaun? Who even knows? I'll take the Jaguars here -3.
Yeah, but like you were saying about this Jaguars defense, I think they're going to be the reason that they're able to keep them around, especially with Josh Hines-Allen. Really, I know he's changed his name there, throws people off, but it helps us distinct him from the quarterback up in Buffalo. But he's going to push for Defensive Player of the Year. Doug Peterson's got that defense rolling. ETN, he looked great. That fumble hurts, I know. But that would have been a nice week 1 win the Battle of Florida. Brian Thomas Jr.
I'll probably card this. I'll probably take the Jags -3.
You think? I don't know.
I'm pretty confident in that.
That Browns defense does scare me a little bit, though. That's the only thing.
The guy under center doesn't, though.
No, not at all. And they don't have Nick Chubb playing either. Nobody really looked great. Jerry Jeudy, I guess, had the best debut out of anybody on that team. Myles Garrett, kind of quiet, too. But then the Jaguars, Brian Thomas Jr., I'm going to look at him to have another big day. I think he led the team in catches, targets, and had a touchdown.
Yeah, he's good.
Got the 2 feet down, too. I think he's pretty underrated guy there. They have a good mix. Kirk in the mix too. Ingram, Davis. I like what the Jaguars have. I think I might be with you. I might end up taking him, but if the only reason I stay away would be that defense, but I think the Jags should be able to get this done. Gonna have that ETN touchdown on the card a little bit more this year after that first week. I can't believe I missed it in week 1. He should have had 2 as well.
Yeah, I took him first so many times last year, and he kept fucking him.
Would you have hit it this year?
They scored first.
I think he did. I think it was him, then Brian Thomas.
Yeah. I'm big on the first teams now because I like taking 2 guys first team because you can hit. Instead of taking 2 guys first and you just hope one hits, you can literally take both first team and actually hit both.
Alrighty, let's keep moving here. 49ers and Vikings here in week 2 at home for the Vikings. 49ers the favorite here. 6 points for them. The total 45.5. 49ers money line at -275. Vikings money line at +220. What are you guys thinking about this matchup here?
If we called that Monday night game for the Niners to a T, we said it. We're going to be weary of the Niners like we were the Chiefs in week 1 at home, even though they're the best in the league because of these up-and-coming teams they got in the prime time. But we should have just taken that spread because it was really low for a very good 49ers team, even without McCaffrey.
Yep. I was just going to say, even without him, the line didn't even really move. That was the most impressive part is obviously when you think of the 49ers offense, that's who you think of as McCaffrey, and the line didn't even move. The total dropped by a point. So they still had faith in this 49ers team to snap against that Jets team. The Jets defense, I mean, passing, they look good. Defense, but in certain spots in that game, that defense looked like kind of overhyped, I guess you could say. A lot of people love to say, oh, the Jets on paper are one of the best teams. Cool. Good thing they don't play the games on paper. You actually have to go out there and play the game.
Jordan Mason, a backup running back.
I was just going to say,
barely any touches went for over 101.
If you're going against the 49ers and you get news that McCaffrey's not playing, you got to capitalize on that. Okay, if we're going to stop one thing, we're going to stop the run. We're going to make Brock Purdy beat us in the air because everyone says, oh, he's not an elite quarterback. You couldn't even stop the running back to make Brock Purdy beat you. Like, they let, like you said, Jordan Mason go for what? Like 120? It was like the top 5 most rushing yards in a debut for the 49ers. Other side note, that list is insane. It's like
with the
McCaffrey.
names on it.
McCaffrey last year against the Steelers had like 167, and he's like third.
Yeah. Well, think about some of the names that play for that story franchise.
I was going to say, yeah, that was the other thing I was thinking of, but that list was crazy, those stats. But I'm on the 49ers here. I think they'll handle business up in Minnesota. We saw, Jefferson get his last week. Vikings got their win in was it at MetLife, I believe?
Yeah, it was. They had those Giants throwbacks on.
Giants were wearing the Montreal Canadiens jerseys. I'm on the 49ers.
I had that Jefferson touchdown last week, which was nice to see. And then Mr. DUI, Jordan Addison, was on the field. No TJ Hawkinson, so that's tough to see. Aaron Jones got in the end zone too as that new piece they brought in. Like we said, you get a new running back, you're probably going to get him in the end zone week 1. We should have capitalized there. Sam Darnold overachieved last week. I think he falls back to earth with a really tough defense. I think Bosa and Co are going to get after him, get him on the ground a good bit.
I'm probably going to card the 49ers here, too.
I might look into a Sam Darnold interception this week as well. I think that pressure is going to get to him as he's playing catch-up all game. I do think George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk get a bit more involved this week. Brock Purdy's going to air it out a bit more against the lighter matchup. I know you said those Jets on paper look good. They played bad last week, but that Minnesota Vikings defense is a lot easier matchup for them. They kind of stat pad there. Look for Debo to get more looks out of the backfield if McCaffrey's out again, because I saw he's still on the questionable tag. And I think with the way Mason played, if there's any question of if McCaffrey can go or not, you sit him out and save him for the rest of the year and let that guy play again because he played so well.
Yeah, I agree. I think I love 49ers in this spot. Like I said, I'm probably going to card them.
Kyle Shanahan, best coach in the league. He's going to make it happen again.
This is one of the survival picks I was looking at, but I don't know if I want to use the 49ers on the road.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'd rather be in than out, though, so make sure you pick someone who wins.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's the other thing is, like, don't overthink it too much. Like, you got to fucking win.
I might just go Ravens at home this week.
That's the other one I was looking at. That's, like, the trappy one that kind of scares me.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. Good slate here, though, but I think that 49ers handle business. Tough one for the I think the Vikings stay relevant, even with Darnold this year, but this is just a tough task this week.
Yeah.
I got some trends here for this matchup here. Vikings are 10-1 against the spread, and they're past 11 games at home to the 49ers.
That's crazy.
And Vikings for 7-point home dogs to San Francisco last year and won outright, just 22-17.
Yeah, I always thought the Vikings always play that team well. I don't know what it is, but with Sam Darnold, I got to think they get it done. Might scare me away from putting it on the card, though. Good thing we had those trends.
Alrighty, let's move forward here. Seahawks in Aces Patriots here. Patriots at home this week, but the Seahawks the favorite, 3.5 points, total low 38. Seahawks money line at minus 185. Patriots at plus 150. Ace, what do you think your Patriots are going to be able to do this week here at home?
I think they're able to get another win this week playing against the Seattle Seahawks. That team's even worse than the Cincinnati Bengals. A lot of people gave me flack when I put the Bengals in the bottom tier. I put the Seahawks in the bottom tier. Well, now you're losing to the bottom of the barrel in the New England Patriots during their rebuild. So I wonder if I was right with that prediction. I think Geno Smith, this is last year's QB, had the longest or second longest touchdown run of anybody at that age with the 40-yard scamper into the end zone last week. But I think he's shut down here. Kenneth Walker with the questionable tag. We get to see Christian Gonzalez match up against DK Metcalf. He's done great in his audition so far against top receivers like Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, A.J. Brown, and CeeDee Lamb. His stats prove that, and I think he can do it again against DK. It's a great matchup for him. We have other guys throughout the board to match up with Lockett, JSN. The rest of the group, I think that they're going to keep the ball on the ground. Ramondre Stevenson got paid, and they're using him like a true workout horse, which is nice to see. Belichick always went with a committee. Mayo may be leaning towards using Ramondre to his true potential, and it showed off for a touchdown, 100+. He was the number 2 rusher last week.
25 carries.
Yeah, that's the ones. Usually you don't see that from the Patriots. Usually,
I like that. That's what I remember your brother sent me like a big list of guys you should keep in his fantasy league, and I was like, dude, because he told me they keep him with the rounds you got him in, and I was like, dude, you got to keep Ramondre in this situation. I think he's going to be huge in that offense where they don't really trust the quarterback right now with it being Brissett.
They're game managing.
That's all they're doing. They're trying to they're trying to win 16-10 ball games. Look what my Steelers
just trying to win the game. Keep it
field goals and won.
Keep it close with the defense.
That's all you can do. When you have an ugly offense, all you can do is keep it close with your defense, and that's exactly what they did. Gonzalez locked up Jamar Chase. I loved what he said after the game. Is he's not going to get a new contract?
Yeah, that was a good quote by him. He's the top pick for a reason. Missed it. Got injured in that game we were at last year, but he's coming on. Then Keon White, 2.5 sacks or 3 sacks last week. The replacement for Matt Judon. He was picked in the second round a year ago. He's the reason we were able to let Judon go, and he stepped in the role perfectly. The Seahawks on the other side, they were able to get a good victory. Kenneth Walker found the end zone. They did everything we expected in a light matchup last week. I think going to New England, though, I'm going to take the Patriots to go 2-0 here. It's crazy to say, but I think they can do it.
Yeah, it's a tough road game, especially in that early slate. I never love those Western teams coming east, playing in a 1 o'clock game. It's like a 10 a.m. game for them. I'm going to go with the Patriots as well. I
Wow,
think they
that's
win the game.
crazy.
Keep the point.
Patriots being picked on the board. Let's go.
I was the one that agreed with you when I said what was their win total? 4, 5.5. I was like, you got to think they go over that.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, there's a tough stretch coming up after this, so
But
make sure you take care
they're
of
a good
business.
organization, so they also know how to tank. Like,
Yeah.
it looked like they were setting up to just tank again.
Week 1 overreaction, though. The Patriots are good.
No, I wouldn't say they're good, but in this spot, I'll take them.
You want to know what's crazy? I saw a quote that rang really true. Post-Belichick, first game post-Belichick era looks exactly like the Belichick era, and I'm not mad about that.
Yeah. Do your job.
Yep.
Lots of good stuff there for your Patriots, Ace. Looking forward to this game for him here this week. Our next 1 o'clock game here, Jets and Titans, another set of teams looking for their first wins. Jets are the favorite here, 3.5 points. Total at 40.5. Their money line at -190. Titans money line at +155. This game in Nashville. What are you guys thinking about this 1 o'clock 1 o'clock matchup?
Are the Titans that bad that they can just blow a lead like that? Do you hear that coach said we should just punt on 1st and 10?
They should have with the Will Levis throwing the ball sideways. It's like something you do on the recess schoolyard, throwing it right to the Bears for the loss. The clip everybody saw of him, like, oh my God. Tough scene there for the boy, but I think better days are ahead for him, but I don't think winning days are. I think the Jets are able to right the ship here and get to 1-1. They showed me enough. I know we kind of trashed them a bit earlier, but they did play the San Francisco 49ers on the road in Rodgers' first full game as a New York Jet. You'd like to think that maybe to get Mike Williams going, I think Breece Hall could have a massive day against this Titans defense, and I think Garrett Wilson will as well. The defense should be able to shut them down. If that Bears defense can have such a good day against the Titans, then so can the New York Jets.
Yeah, I kind of agree as well. I'd lean on the Jets here. I don't love giving them 4 points, but this is kind of a get-right game for them. They got their tough road matchup in Week 1. Monday Night Football in the prime time again. We're going to see this team a lot in the prime time because obviously ESPN loves them for Monday night, and I guess they're on a couple other Thursday and Sunday night games, but they get the publicity. I think this is a get-right game for the Jets. I look at Breece Hall, them just kind of utilize him. That fumble early on last week kind of fucked them. I know they lost by a couple possessions, but it just kind of set the tone. 49ers kicked the field goal right there. I know the Jets took the lead, but you never want to give up turnovers. I look at the Jets here to cover this number. I don't know if I'm going to bet it, though, but that's kind of the way
Yeah, me too. And I don't know if I'm going to take it either, but I do think they should cover the 4. Also, what about Allen Lazard? That connection with Aaron Rodgers staying strong as he had a crazy good game. Found the end zone once or twice, I believe.
Twice, but the second one was from Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, so he still had 2. I think he had 6 or 7 catches, almost 90 yards. Like I said, I think Mike Williams will eventually be the 2, but Rodgers is going to keep feeding his boy. He took him over there with him, so you got to expect him to keep eating. And with Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, yeah, I got the Jets this week. That could even be a shady survival pick.
Again, I'd rather pick them at home. I'm going to try to stay away from road teams.
Yeah, agreed.
That's the smart. I feel like it's the smart way to do it.
Alrighty, let's get into our last 1 o'clock matchup here. Another set of teams here looking for their first win as we finish the 1 o'clock slate on Week 2. Giants and Commanders, a rough game here. Commanders the favorite, just 1.5 points there. 44 is the total. Commanders money line -125. Giants +105. What are we thinking here, Ace? Get us going. Last 1 o'clock matchup.
So you'd think it is a gross game just because any game with the Giants is a gross game in my opinion. But I watched last week because I had the Bucs over the Commanders in my survival league. I also was tuned in to that Vikings game a little bit as I had some coin on them with the Jefferson Tutty. But the Giants looked brutal and couldn't do anything on offense. And the Washington Commanders could actually move the ball against a good Buccaneers team. And Jaden Daniels did it himself. He found the end zone. Maybe I look into a Jaden Daniels touchdown a little bit more because he looks like he's going to be running it a good bit. And I think he's able to secure his first victory as a divisional one. I know it's going to be a tough one. I like the under here, but I think the Commanders are able to cover that. Love that. Give me the points too. Jaden Daniels have a good day. Austin Eckler looked like he was still a valid running back too, especially through the air. Terry McLaurin, maybe he can get going a little bit more. But yeah, this is solely a Jaden Daniels base pick and how putrid the New York Giants look.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like the Commanders in this spot minus the 1.5, and I also do like the under. You hit that right on the head for how I was looking at this game. I think Jaden Daniels is going to have some success in this one as well. Get his first win. Get some good vibes in the facility over there in Washington. Like like you said, Giants. I don't know if I'm going to bet on them one time this year. They don't look anything promising worth putting
I
money
don't know
on.
what they are going to do to score a touchdown.
Yeah,
Like, how are they going to score touchdowns? I really
the
don't know.
team's bad.
I'm gonna say that there's the Commanders win this game 20-9, 20-9 Commanders, and there's a Jaden Daniels run was one in for sure.
Yeah.
That's my favorite play is Jaden Daniels getting in the under. And the Commanders, those are the three. Trifecta right there. Same game parlay. Lock it in. Good odds. Probably gonna hit.
Alrighty, that wraps up our 1 o'clock slate here for week 2. Let's jump into these 4 o'clock games here, starting with the Rams and the Cardinals here. Cardinals at home, also the favorite, 1.5 points for them, total 49. Same money lines here as the last game. Cardinals minus 125, Rams plus 105. What are we thinking here, jumping into our 4 o'clock slate?
Fire matchup.
Yeah, this is a good matchup. We were big on the Cardinals last week to cover in that spot in Buffalo. I'm actually going to flip sides here. I'm on the Rams in this spot. I think they win the game. I do still like this Cardinals team. I just think this is the divisional spot. McVay, I don't see that Rams team starting 0-2. I think Stafford will get right against this defense. I am big. I emphasized it last week. I like this Cardinals team. I think they're going to be pesky. I can see them start 0-2, continue to hang around in games. Rams are an underdog here. I'm going to take the Rams to win this one.
Yeah, that's a good pick there, and I agree with you. You know what's tough is I want to take the Cardinals so bad, but this game is basically which of these NFC West teams do you think can make a push towards a wild card? Is it the Rams or is it the Cardinals? Cardinals probably ahead of schedule. As much as my heart wants me to say yes, I had the Kyler jersey on the live stream. I think my head says the Rams can do it. They look good against the Lions. They went to overtime and lost on the road. I hate those overtime rules. They didn't even get a chance to touch the ball, but Cooper Kupp looked like he's fully healthy and uncoverable once again. Tyler Johnson was thrown in the scene. Like I said earlier, Sean McVay and Matt Stafford will make a wide receiver 2 valid no matter who he is. And Kyron Williams is the top running back in the league. I think Colby Parkinson is a decent tight end in the mix too. Defense didn't play as bad as I thought they would. They looked pretty stout throughout the air. Couldn't really stop Dave Montgomery at the end, but their young defense that was just pretty gassed on the road on Sunday Night Football. I think Kyler's going to have a big day. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. bounces back after his 1 reception performance. James Conner looked really good. I think there's going to be a good amount of points here. A 4 o'clock game. I'm going to take the over here. That's probably my favorite play. I think Kupp definitely finds the end zone and has that reception prop. I think Conner should too. And I think Marvin Harrison Jr. bounces back. Not going to put him on the card until he does so, but you got to think he's too good not to.
Yeah, I agree. I just like the Rams to kind of little brother this team right now. Get their first win, divisional spot. Yeah, I'm on the Rams.
Kyler Murray going to be running around too. He looked good actually. Even though they lost to a good Bills team, they kind of blew a lead. At points, he looked bad in the second half. When he was at his best, there were some glimpses of success and good performance from him. So I'd like to see him continue to do his thing out there.
Awesome stuff. Let's keep going here. 4 o'clock game. Bengals, Chiefs in Kansas City. Chiefs the favorite here, just 5.5 points. The over-under at 47.5. Chiefs money line at minus 250. Bengals at plus 200. What are we thinking about this 4 o'clock matchup?
Chiefs are going to roll them here. I know that the Bengals like to say they're one of the few teams who can beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and their week 1 was just a fluke. But they start off slow, and now they got to go into Arrowhead against a team who's flying high and already beat the best team in the AFC North. On the road after losing to the Patriots, they don't have time or hype on their side. Jamar Chase sat out camp, so they're not up to speed there. Higgins was hurt in the game. The defense looked brutal. I don't know. I've got the Chiefs here to cover all the points, too. I think they're going to have a big day. If I can get them in a teaser, I like that a little bit better if I get some plus numbers near that name. But I think the Chiefs on the money line here is a good play at home. They're not losing the bar this week. I think they might kick their ass, actually, as a little statement that Joe Burrow is not Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I agree as well. I'm on the Chiefs to cover the number. I think 5.5 is 5.5. I like that number with them. And avoid the total on this one because both of these offenses could, catch fire. Obviously, the Bengals coming off a 10-point performance. Could they, go for a little bit more in this one? Kind of a classic that we've seen between these two teams, like a 34-28, and it stays close. Either way, I'm going to take the Chiefs minus the 5.5 points. I think, like you said, statement game. I think Mahomes and Kelsey will have I think Kelsey gets in this one.
Yeah, he didn't get in last week, so he's got to do it for Taylor. She was up in the box last week. He looked good when he did get the ball. I know it seems like they're going to limit his usage to make sure he stays healthy through the end of the year, kind of like the Patriots did with Rob Gronkowski. Probably the smart thing to do. We saw Noah Gray get more targets. They have some weird running back that they're hyping up out there, but I think it's really the Pacheco show. I think he has another successful game. And then Xavier Worthy, nice little gadget player to add to the mix. But Rashee Rice looked great. He's that number one target. Maybe we get to see Hollywood this week. We saw Juju touch the field too. So they got all their pieces. I think they're just going to keep getting as the year goes on, getting better. And with the weak running backs like Zach Moss and Chase Brown, and Moss looked decent last week. He's not going to do anything against Chris Jones. Chris Jones is going to get off the quarterback all day. We saw Burrow on his back a lot against the New England Patriots. Strong defense, that albeit they always have a strong defense. But you got to think Chris Jones is going to make it hell for Joe Burrow on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Chiefs a lot in this spot.
This is America's game of the week, I believe, as well, unless I'm misspeaking. I don't know, Fox, it might be Rams or Cardinals. But I expect to have a good announcing crew on this one. 425 slate with these teams. There should be a good one. Should be a lot of points for Patrick.
Yeah.
I got a couple trends here. Bengals 1-7 straight up, 2-6 against the spread in their past 8 week 2 games. Chiefs have won and covered 7 straight. Under is 18-5 in the past 23 Kansas City home games. But with that, let's move forward to the Steelers and Broncos, our final 4 o'clock matchup here, 425 in Denver. Steelers the favorite, 2.5 points here. Total at 36.5. Steelers money line at -140. Broncos at +120. Fields is supposedly playing. What do we think here? No Russ in Denver. Huff, you want to get us going?
Yeah, obviously kind of a interesting performance last week. Steelers win an ugly 18-10 matchup against a new Atlanta team. I figured they were going to be in that spot. I did pick them to win that game, an ugly one. I said that was exactly how I saw that game going. We win an ugly matchup. There's a quarterback controversy. Fields is going to start in Denver. Obviously, I'm the Russ guy. I am going to go with the Steelers again here. I think they'll cover this 2.5 points. Not big on this Denver team. They did come back and show some life against that Seahawks. Make me have to push my -6 spread there on my card. I'm on the Steelers. I think you're safe taking any under involving the Steelers, though. I don't think you'll get in a situation where they're scoring, 28 points, 24 points a game. I like the first half under 17.5 and the Steelers minus the 2.5 points on the game.
Yeah, that's a good take. I mean, last week Chris Boswell was the all-star, but it really was the defense and TJ Watt. He was all over the field. You got to think he's going to be in the backfield again today, making it hell for Bo Nix. Bo Nix showed glimpses of being decent. When he had to throw the ball, he didn't look too great, but when he was being mobile and on the ground, he looked solid. Javonte Williams didn't really raise any eyebrows, nor did Sutton or Mims or whoever else they have on the Denver offense. The defense actually played pretty decent. It kept them in the game against a decent Seahawks team, but I don't think there's a chance where they can put up enough points to win this one. Even if it has to be the leg of Chris Boswell game, I think the Steelers are able to get it done and capitalize on this early season light schedule, like you said. Justin Fields maybe he can find the end zone this game as well. I did hit that Bo Nix touchdown, though, we talked about all summer, and I didn't put it on my card. And I'm still kicking myself on that one because he was plus 700. But what are you going to do? There's more chances. I think he gets in a few more times. It's a good mobile quarterback out there. That team is just so far away from being competitive.
Yeah, I agree. Sunday night football. We have a good one for Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday night football. The primetime slots have just been insane.
Yeah, definitely a good matchup here. Bears and Texans in Houston. 2 1-0 teams battling out here for their first loss. Texans are the favorite at 6 points. The total at 45.5. Texans money line at -250. Bears at +200. What do we think is going to happen here? Sunday night football on NBC.
Two young guns dueling here. CJ Stroud versus Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, both teams 1-0, but Caleb Williams, terrible stat line. Terrible. Didn't even find the end zone. The defense outscored them. But that's all right. They won the game. He didn't have many turnovers, so I guess that's the way to do it. But I think the Texans are going to handle them this week. Bears are going to get a taste of reality. I think they'll have better games later this season and not be as bad as they have been in recent mystery. But Joe Mixon looked great. Stephon Diggs looked great. The new toys got in for that offense. Nico Collins went over 100. CJ Stroud, super efficient. That defense looked pretty solid. They didn't look great. They gave up big plays to Richardson, but what are you going to do? Anthony Richardson's a big play waiting to happen. Divisional win. They're going to go 2-0. Sophomore CJ Stroud, I don't think he's slumping. I think they're going to dub. Tell me why there's any chance the Bears can have one if you think so.
I don't think that there's a chance the Bears hang in this game. I like the Texans minus the 6. I think for all the reasons you said, I like the better coach in DeMeco Ryans, the better quarterback in CJ Stroud, the better offense, and a pesky defense. Will Anderson. They have what's the guy that came down from Minnesota? Blanking on his name.
Unique Ngakoue?
Is that who it was? I thought he's not even in the NFL anymore. Who's the other guy I'm thinking of?
I thought they got. Let's see. Look at their defense. Texas defense. I thought they had Ngakoue.
They just signed. Who did they just sign from Minnesota?
I So soon.
Oh, this could drive me nuts because they lost.
It was Daniil Hunter.
Daniil Hunter.
Yeah,
Daniil Hunter. That's it.
Yeah, they got him. They got Farusaki Aziz out for a year. 2-0-2-0. They got Derek Stingley. They brought in Jimmy Ward, Jeff Okuda.
They have a nice team.
That's a better
Texans
defense
team,
than it was.
Yeah, that's going to be a good team. Give me the Texans minus the 6 points.
Do you think Diggs finds the end zone again? I think Mixon definitely does. I'm going to ride that Mixon ATD a lot. That was my lock of the week last week, was Mixon at plus 125. He found the end zone. He looked like himself. Diggs looked like himself. We didn't see much of Dell, but Collins too. That whole offense stacked. Dalton Schultz, I mean.
Yeah.
I love that Texans team. I think they're going to press for best record in the AFC.
I remember when Dalton Schultz went there. Obviously, I used to love to bet him with Dak on the Cowboys. I remember when he went there, I said, he's going to be a nice piece for a young C.J. Stroud. And obviously, he hasn't really used them too much, but
nice safety valve.
They've filled that offense in around those guys well.
Insanely well. Best receiving core in the league. Top running back. Yeah. They're primed for success, and they're winning on Sunday Night Football. Maybe a trouncing.
We will see. Make sure you tune into our live stream here on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. whenever we chat about that game as well as our other favorite games here this week or week 2. Let's jump forward here. Monday Night Football, Falcons and Eagles in Philadelphia. Steelers beating the Falcons last week. Eagles getting their win. Eagles are the favorite here, 6.5 points. Total at 47. Eagles money line at minus 300. Falcons at plus 240. What do we think Monday Night Football on ESPN?
Is there a chance? I mean, that's great value, and this team's supposed to be good. Can Kirk Cousins bounce back after a bad debut? I mean, it's not the Steelers' defense.
Remember the Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football trends?
How bad he is?
Yeah.
Primetime Kirk. And how good Saquon Barkley looked. I'll tell you what, I'm putting a Saquon Barkley touchdown.
I will definitely be betting Saquon again this week. Probably first team man for any time, but he looked unreal. Yeah, I'd lean on the Eagles. I don't love the spread. I was looking at the Eagles as a survivor pick this week as well.
Jalen Hurts didn't even look that great. The rest of the team did.
The safe pick is just give me Saquon. He looks unreal. I might have to bet that every week this year. Kind of like the train of the McCaffrey train. Yeah.
I think he's going to do that. I think he might lead the league in touchances, push for an offensive player of the year if he can stay healthy.
I mean, coming off a hat trick, he's already looking good to lead the league.
Tough start for the first play of his career, but that Brazil field was terrible. But E.J. Brown looking great. Devontae Smith looking great. Jalen Hurts, like I said, didn't look awesome, but
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He's been there, done that at every level.
I think that the Falcons got to be paskier than they were last week. They couldn't get in the end zone. They couldn't do anything. And we saw the Packers put up a decent amount of points against the Eagles.
Steelers a pesky defense. I think they'll get more against the Eagles. That's why
the Eagles in the prime time are great. I mean, I think they should be able to win this one. I like the Eagles. Give me them on the money line here. And Saquon, the score, is my favorite play.
Yeah, that's why I was leaning on them as a survivor.
I like it. Solid week 2 ahead. Like I said, make sure you tune into our live streams every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern as we unravel our top 5 games of the week, including Sunday Night Football, as well as our videos on Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football to wrap up all the primetime games each week. But that's all we got here for the NFL here in week 2. Moving forward to the college football world, we have Texas defeated Michigan at the Big House this past Saturday in a commanding 32-12 victory. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers led the way for the Longhorns with 3 touchdowns and 246 passing yards. How far can this Texans team go? What do you think, Huff?
I'm very big on this Texas team. They're obviously now the number 2 team in the nation, right behind Georgia. They've come in the SEC and made themselves a powerhouse, especially after a big win going into Michigan in a commanding way. I was on Texas in that game. I wish we would have threw that on the card. I'm big on Quinn Ewers and this Texas offense. I think that they're going to go far. They do have a huge matchup against Georgia in a few weeks. But I think this Texas Longhorns team is one you could see. There's a chance we see Texas versus Georgia 3 times this year, once in 3 weeks. Once, second time in the SEC championship, and then a 3rd time in the national title game. I seriously think that could happen. It's chalk, but college football, that's usually how it works out. I don't see either of those teams. Like Alabama, I think Texas would handle them. We're going to see that matchup as well. But I think this Texas team is going to go very far.
I'm excited to see that Texas-Alabama one. I like that they added the SEC. Now they got that 3-headed monster there because I think Alabama's even going to be good post-Saban era. Georgia, you know how good they always are, and same with Texas. Texas is only going to get stronger and stronger as the years go on being over there. And
this is truly their year. If they can catch Georgia in an ugly national title game, I might put some money on Texas to win it all this year.
Maybe look at their future now.
It's tough now. They're already the second team in the country. Let me look at what it's at. But go ahead, Jesse, with the next point.
You're curious what you guys think who the biggest winners and losers are of week 2 here for college football as we approach week 3 here this week.
Is Colorado the biggest loser?
They're definitely up there, but the expectations there, obviously, I picked Nebraska minus the 6.5. Nebraska's a very good team. They're now ranked coming into week 3. But the biggest loser has to be Notre Dame losing at home in South Bend.
That was bad.
Northern Illinois, who now finds themselves in the top 25 rankings, which is hilarious. Don't know much about their game. Going to stay away from any game involving Northern Illinois now. They win an ugly 16-14 game over Riley Leonard and that new-look Notre Dame team. I hate Notre Dame, so love seeing them go down anytime. That they're definitely the biggest losers. The biggest winner, I think, is Texas. They showed that they can, go on the road, get a big win.
Over Michigan.
SEC, they go in and beat the defending national title, Michigan Wolverines. I know it's a new-look Michigan team without J.J. McCarthy, without John Harbaugh, but that team still has a bunch of pieces on it. Not an easy place at all to go in and play. Texas, a biggest winner, biggest losers, got to be Notre Dame.
A lot of top 25 teams going down last week. Florida State feeling a little bit better about themselves, I guess.
Florida State, they're in hell. Did you see what they're doing in practice?
No.
The water gun fights?
They're chasing each other around with water guns, saying they're simulating the rain.
Oh, God.
Like, that program is just broken. If I'm the athletic director, Mike Norvell, their head coach, has got to go. Like,
Blow it up.
Yeah, literally, just blow it up. They got so many transfers, too. It makes no sense how bad that team is.
Any games you want to review here this week for college football off?
No, it was mainly the Texas-Michigan game because I think Texas is probably one of the best teams. Georgia handled business. There was a couple other upsets. Syracuse, we called that one on the card at home against Georgia Tech. A lot of the ranked teams, I posted that on our Instagram. They were losing to start out on Saturday. Penn State turned it around. 35.5-point favorite. They end up winning by 7 over Bowling Green. Arkansas was winning most of the game against Oklahoma State, who comes back and wins it in double overtime. Similar situation with Kansas State. They came back and won by 7 as well. Georgia handled business 48-3. I said that last week. Utah was my one pick on the card that I did not hit. I had them minus the 15. They were up 23-3. Next thing I know, I look at the score. I didn't watch any of the second half. It was 23-12, and Utah was kneeling it out with a few minutes left. Miami, they look legit as a 12th team in the nation. Obviously, I think they got higher coming into this week. But I can kind of get through these top 10, at least, teams in the nation. Not going to read through the whole top 25. But, yeah, Miami finds herself in that top 10 at number 10, Oregon 9, Penn State 8, Tennessee 7, Missouri sliding up to 6, Ole Miss 5, Alabama 4, Ohio State at 3, Texas at 2, and Georgia still at that 1 spot. Yeah, not a ton of movement. Obviously, Tennessee's the big one. They slide 7 spots up. And then Missouri both coming off big wins, all 2-0 teams. And then obviously down bottom, LSU responded with a win. They get themselves back up to 16th. But BC ranked, Northern Illinois ranked, and Nebraska now ranked. I think Nebraska's a team to keep your eye on in the Big Ten. I think they could climb higher than 23rd, sneak themselves into that top 20 next week.
Awesome. Lots of good stuff as we approach week 3 here of the college football season. I know we're heading down to the WVU Pitt Panthers game in Pittsburgh here on Saturday, 3:30. So lots to look forward to as we get closer to that. Let's jump over to the MLB here. Power rankings here for this week. We got them. Number 5, the San Diego Padres. Number 4, the Milwaukee Brewers. Number 3, the New York Yankees. Number 2, the Philadelphia Phillies. And number 1, the Los Angeles Dodgers here for this week. What do you guys think here before we jump into a little MLB?
Yeah, a lot of these guys in our top 5 are all winning their division, if not close to it, and should be locked into a playoff spot. But what's crazier is the wild card. I know that's our next point to get into here. Bless you. But the next point here should be how good are these wild card teams? Can they make a push for it? Who is still in the hunt that's not in it? I know the Diamondbacks, Mets, Braves are kind of fighting for that wild card out in the West. The Red Sox, 3 games out, and they have a series against the Twins coming up. I think they're kind of dead, but is there a chance they get in? I don't know. Maybe. The Royals are right there as well. It's going to be interesting to watch, but I think whoever gets in can actually make a push. The Diamondbacks are scaring me more and more every day.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. They're shit-stomping the Rangers right now. I think it's 14-4. But Mets currently sit in right now after that win in Toronto today. They're the last team in right now with Atlanta a half game back. The way the Mets are playing, I feel like they're going to get in.
Yeah, the Francisco Lindor is making that late case MVP push. I know it's Ohtani's award to lose with that crazy season he's putting together, but with Lindor going to be a rightful number 2 in the race, and the rest of the team playing well around them. But it's crazy because they don't have that great pitching we talked about all year. They don't have the ace. They have guys like Miguel and Blackburn throwing good games for him. David Peterson has turned into a stud. Severino, he's pitched pretty well too, and Quintana. But meanwhile, that D-backs team, I got to keep talking to them just because of how good they are. Eugenio Suarez has started to turn it on now too. He has 2 home runs today. But Christian Walker's back in the lineup. You have Corbin Carroll was the NL Player of the Month, previous Player of the Week a week or two ago. That whole team is coming together at the right time with that pitching staff. Their lineup's deep 1 through 9. That's the scary team to beat. The Dodgers are still really good. We know that. The Phillies are really good. In the American League side, I think it's the Yankees. The Astros are stumbling a bit, but the Yankees, the Astros, and the Orioles are the teams out there that I would be putting my eyes on. Maybe shady Royals too. That Royals team has a lot of spunk, led by Bobby Witt Jr. and a decent pitching staff with Ragans and Luga.
Yeah, I agree. I think so you think it's going to be who? Baltimore, Kansas City, and who in the American League?
Minnesota.
Yeah, I think they're mostly now going to sit how they are. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Braves sneak in. But I could see the Diamondbacks be the team that sneaks out.
Really? Yeah, the Diamondbacks team is scary though.
Yeah, I know. I feel like if they get in, they're going to be very scary. But I don't know. There's been a lot of fluctuation between those 4 teams. There's going to be one very good team not get in.
How about these Padres? They've been on fire to end the year. That team could be scary going to the playoffs too. They have a lot of stars on that lineup, both on the mound and at the plate.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, that Padres team's legit. They definitely could make a deep run at it.
We don't talk about these too much, but the Guardians and Brewers, they're still in the mix. They're always there, but got to keep your eyes on them. But I think those are easy outs for the top dogs.
Yeah, Guardians back in the first place in their division. That's big for them, obviously. Royals snuck up there for a couple of days there. They have a 4-game lead on that AL Central. I think they'll win that division as well.
Be fun to follow once we get close to these playoffs. We've got to see who can actually make noise when it matters most.
Yeah, playoffs start in what? Like, how many games are left?
End of the month, I think. Through the end of the month.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, and the Red Sox only 3 games out. They're really not dead. I don't think they're going to get in, but it's crazy that they're still on the hunt this late for a team that...
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff out of us here this week. MLB, college football, NFL week 2 here, college football week 3's here. That's all I got here this week. You guys got anything else to add?
I think that is it. Thanks for listening. Make sure you're staying tuned for all the live streams getting out there, social media as well. Make sure you drop us a follow wherever you're listening at. Leave a comment. We appreciate it. Get those post notifications on. 3 of us went positive in the NFL. Another nice weekend in college football. Could be better, but had a couple bad beats there. But if you like betting on football, make sure you get those post notifications on so you don't miss any of our plays. Other than that, thanks for listening.